we're back. Sorry, it's been a very chatty podcast today. We've ended up just having a chat in between segments about 3D printer quality and stuff like this. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about our next tournament in detail. We're going to look at the rules back, look at the when, and like we said, I think half the tickets have gone now. We've got over 2 months to go, but we really want to fill it out because we've got sweet loot. We've taken on board what you guys said about the last tournament. We've got dice already here from Mocco with custom logos, and they are probably the tastiest looking dice I've ever seen.
They do look like strawberry candy.
They look like candy. It's a bit of a worry, but this is going to be. I'm really excited because it's in Southampton, which is like, I don't know. This is a lot closer to
home turf.
Yeah, to all of us.
Home stadium.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah,
this is a home game for us essentially. So I guess that's a good place to start. This is part of the South Coast series, and the South Coast series is a bunch of tournament events that are being run by Entoyment. I'm now going to say around the country, probably along the South Coast is a better way of saying it. So Beachhead is like the first one, which is at the Bic. Then there's South Coast Summer, which is at the Bic in July, and then we've got South Coast Autumn, which is at the Rose Bowl. Is it the Rose Bowl? The
GS Bowl.
The GS Bowl.
Used to be the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, in Southampton. So this is a wargaming event at a sports venue. This is a Blood Bowl event at a sports venue, and I'm like, it's Blood Bowl's coming home. Like that's just how it feels. So yeah, we've got a great venue for this one, and we are running it out. And we're going to go for the standard kind of 2 days, but not really 2-day format. So, I mean, Ben, talk us through the way we're doing our tournament structure when it comes to the days and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be doing 11s on the Saturday. So 3 games of 11s from, I think, 9 till 5 is usually what we go, 9:30 till 5-ish. And then on the Sunday, we're going to be doing 7s. And so there will be an overall winner for 11s, an overall winner for 7s, and then there will be an overall winner for the 2 days combined. So if you do 2 days, there is another chance to take the win.
Yeah.
That's basically it. 7s will be a bit shorter. Are we doing 4 games of 7s?
Yeah, 4 games of 7s.
Yeah.
4 games of 7s. So the whole idea of this is that we as players don't get an opportunity to go like this. It's harder to organize yourself to be able to go away for a 2-dayer. Like, it's a ton of fun, but sometimes with just real life, it can be really challenging. So for me, it's always been challenging to get away for tournament weekends, just because of historically my work schedule and now my wife's work schedule. Like, this case of she works now every other weekend. So it's kind of every other weekend I am free as a bird. But on the other weekend, I don't want to give up time with Tiff, not unless, something really special is going on, like I think this tournament. Which means if there's a tournament on either side of it, I can go to it. But, and actually if you've got kids, if you've got families and stuff like that, being able to just come to the Saturday or the Sunday, whichever works for you. If you're only interested in 7s, you can come to the Sunday. If you're only interested in 11s, you can come to just the Saturday. But if you want to do a 2-dayer with a bunch of friends, you can come down to both. Do the Saturday and then go into the Sundays. I feel like it's a really good hybrid approach. And, our goal here at the podcast is just to make Blood Bowl as accessible as possible. Like, that's why, generally speaking, we keep the podcast family friendly, so that you can listen to it in the car with your kids. So that there is that boundary of just, this is a great game with great players, and actually we want to make it as accessible to as many people as we can. And I think Milton pointed that out earlier in the hobby section, didn't you? In the 2-hour-long hobby section, Milton, about us just wanting more people to play Blood Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about the community.
And it is a heck of a community. So, South Coast Series, Autumn, October, which I'm really looking forward to because it might not be 30 degrees. That would be good.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Imagine that. Imagine it not being moist. Would be nice. So
when's the World Cup?
Next year.
Yeah, but when? What month?
September.
Okay, it won't be too bad.
In
then.
fact,
it's Alicante. It's going to be pretty hot regardless.
If we go to the end of this rulebook, Where's the end button on this keyboard? No, it doesn't work. That's aggravating. You know what? I'm skipping ahead. We won't. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the event, talk through the format, talk through some kind of ideas on brews, on lists and things, because this is a really cool way to start thinking about the meta. And that's kind of how I'm going to circle around to the meta on this one. So South Coast Saturday will be 9:30 registration, 10 o'clock first match, 12:15 till 1300, 45-minute lunch break. Then you've got 2.25 hours for match 2. Then 2:30 is match 3, and then 6 o'clock is awards. So we've taken the beachhead timings, we've added an extra at least 15 minutes in between the rounds to make sure that there's easier way for you to go to the toilet, go get a beer, go get some grub or whatever. And that's even if your match takes the entire time, right? We want to make sure that you as players have got that ability to just, okay, you know what? I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. I'm going to go talk about the round, because the worst thing sometimes is when you go straight from one round, and what you really want to do is spend 7 to 12 minutes just complaining with your friends, right, about the game.
How unfair your dice rolling has been.
It's just such a thing. Like, it was so good being back at club on Tuesday, and after my game, all I wanted to do is talk to you guys about the game. Like, I think that's a really underrated part of the tournament.
Yeah,
definitely.
Always good fun.
And it comes back around to this community thing, doesn't it? Like, everyone's there and everyone's passionate about the game. We all know how fickle it can be as well. So when you had either like a fantastic run or a really unjust one, that's when you're most passionate about it.
Exactly. And us as TOs gives us a little bit more time to make sure everything goes smoothly. But also something I absolutely really loved doing at Beachhead was catching people as they finished their rounds. Like, oh yeah, handed him a score sheet. Oh, how'd you get on? Like, how was the game? And actually, you get a couple of minutes to spend actually talking to people, which is just sweet. So that is the schedule on the Saturday. So 3 11s games, or Sunday 4 7s games. Now 10 o'clock registration, so a little bit later start. 10:30 match 1, 11:30 match 2, 12:30 lunch, 1:30 match 2 again apparently, but that will probably be match 3, 2:30 match 4, and then 3:30 awards. So 7s is my absolute favourite way to play Blood Bowl, but I mean, Milton, it's a much more chilled vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's games are smaller, doesn't take as much out of you, although that 4 match kind of does bring it to the same degree of tournament sort of
you play the same amount of turns.
Yeah. But it is way more relaxed. You've got there's less going, there's as much Blood Bowl in it, but there's less to sort of spread your attention. It's very concentrated Blood Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like on the Saturday it's 3 pints, or on the Sunday it's 4 shots. You're gonna end up just as unwell. So the Saturday and the Sunday, we're going to start. First round's going to be randomly paired, and then it's going to be Swiss the whole way through. And for both events, there's going to be overall champion for the day. There's stunted champion, tier 3 teams only. That's actual tier 3 teams. Best team award, the best mascot award, but we'll come back to that in a minute. The participation trophy for last place, most touchdowns, most casualties, and dirty player award. And standard things apply, like what to bring your team that's clearly marked and identifiable. Doesn't need to be painted, looks better if it is, but don't worry too much. As long as your models are numbered, or people can clearly see what's what, you're good to go. 2 copies of your roster if you can. If you need us to provide a roster, then do let us know. We're on standby to do that, because quite frankly these days more people have got 3D printers than printers. So, which I think is quite funny. Ben, have you got a printer?
Yeah, it's not plugged in though.
There you go. Does it have ink?
No, God no.
There you go. So yeah, more resin printers in this group than actual Epsons. And your dice and pitches, please, as well. We've got 20 spare pitches, but if you can bring one, it would be much, much better. Might have to do something for 7s pitches, but I got a cunning plan for that. We've got time. All right, it's fine. Anything on that we want to go into detail for, or should we skip to the mascot rules?
Let's talk about mascots.
All right. So this one is legitimately entirely sponsored by Milton because of your horse head dude.
Yeah, so I can't take entire credit for that.
I don't know. You kind of raised mascots as being a great thing, and I mean, tell us what you did and why you did it.
Yeah, so here on the Isle of Wight Blood Bowl League, the guy that runs it, Nick, allows you to take a mascot inducement for free. Well, it's not for free. It obviously counts your team value, but you can take it as part of the rule set for the league. And so I didn't realize this, and like I played my first game, and my opponent had a mascot, and it played enormously in his favor. So I'm running Chaos in that league, and I was like, right, what am I going to do for a mascot? I need to get this reroll in because this reroll is great. So I'm looking through my bits box, and I've got a human thrower, and I've got a few Chaos Knight bits. And so what I've done is I've lopped the head off the human thrower and stuck a horse head on it, like he's wearing a, you know how you get those mascots with the heads on. I've given him a tentacle arm out of a green stuff roller, and he's carrying a flag. He's pretty cool.
He is
to finish him up. He's on par with my Space
Brother
Marine brother Zook, who is also as ridiculous but so much fun. And I think that's like a massive part of the hobby, isn't it? So
it was so good to see like the effort that you put into it, and it's just such a cool bit. That tied with the fact that this event is actually happening in a sports like stadium. It really seemed like, okay, we've got an opportunity here. So the tournament special rule, and this is for both days, so 7s and 11s. As this event is taking place in a famous sports venue, we thought we'd get into the spirit of this. So, inducement, South Coast mascot. Each team may have a South Coast mascot at no cost. South Coast mascots must be represented by a painted mascot miniature. Once per game, you may use the South Coast mascot to provide your team with an extra reroll. This effect is immediate and can be done at any point. The normal rules for team rerolls apply. So basically, you get one reroll to use across the whole game. Okay. So either first half, second half. It's Borak rules at this point. Okay. I kind of wanted to write that, but I didn't know if people would understand. Now, tied into that, we're going to have a best mascot award for each day. So on each day, the tournament organisers, which will be us, will select a best mascot winner. So make them look cool. And we're going to basically have a look at the teams on the day. It's going to be, it's not like, I just think it's a great opportunity for people to be creative. And we, as a collective TO band, are going to choose the winner. Now, it's not the same as the best team award. So best team award will work like it always does. But this is something extra that you get a reroll across the entire game. So half a reroll, basically. And there's going to be a little prize there if you do something really, really, really sweet. Now, I think this is a great little add-on, a great little tournament gimmick that kind of you can grab a player from another one of your teams if you want to. Right, there you go. My mascot's my wood elf. There you go. I'm covered. Yes, you are covered. Or you could do what Milton did and just break 2 models and create something unique and special. So from a hobby point of view, it's a really cool angle, right? But from a roster building point of view, I like this little tweak because it opens up a few opportunities because it gives you half a reroll, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's huge.
It makes leader less of a must pick. That's for sure. I'd consider twice about taking leader as the extra reroll if I had a mascot.
Or you could maybe come up with a roster with both.
You could indeed. So
take it away, Milton.
Yeah, no. So I was I've had this brewing in the back of my head for a little while because I think we were talking about giants, and I saw some amazing giant teams at South Coast Summer, and that really inspired me to get on the giant. And I was looking about how I could incorporate giants into my favorite team, the Orcs. So I was brewing up a roster, and I've come up with a 3 goblin, 4 blitzer, 5 linemen, mercenary giant, 1 reroll build. The thing about them is they're T2 now, so I've got a double, so I can take leader on one of the blitzers, and if I bring a mascot, that brings me up to 3 rerolls, right? So That's a 12 player.
2.5, but yeah.
Well, yeah, 2.5. So it's a 12-player team with a giant and 2.5 rerolls with another 5 skills to spare.
I think that's awesome. So let's have a quick look at the build rules for this event before we go and look at the scoring and stuff like that. Eligible teams. All standard teams are eligible. Teams of Legend are eligible. And the Spike magazine teams were eligible, as well as the Slan roster. Now, Amazons are going to land. And I think the fair thing to do, guys, is what we did with the Norse team, which is allow both for this event, like the old roster and the new roster, because there are going to be people who've planned to bring the old roster, and I just don't want to. It just seems fair enough, I think. New releases, stuff that comes out, will all go in. Team value, 1.1 million. Now, our tournaments tend to be on the lower end. Okay, there are other events that are 1,200, 1,250. Actually, we want our tournaments to represent game 5 or 6 of a league. It's a good way to get 3 games in with a team to see if you're going to like the team, but also I think it's just a nice tight skill set. And star players, you can have star players after your 11 standard players, etc. Inducements, star players as normal. No wizards and no fun. No mercenaries, with the exception of the giant mercenary, which could be included for 350k. Don't forget your South Coast mascot as well. Additional skills. Here we go. This is what Milton was talking about. So tier 1, 5 primaries. No doubles. No leader farming if you're taking a tier 1 team. Tier 2, 4 primaries and 2 secondaries. So Milton, you spent your double on leader on what player?
I'm just going to take it on a blitzer, mostly because they tend to have reasonably decent survivability, but also because I wanted to put block on all the linemen.
That's fair enough. And tier 3 teams get 5 primary and 2 secondary. So in that kind of rule, I feel like tier 2 are probably the best off. Tier 3 getting an extra skill is great fun. And definitely, if you compared to tier 1, if you want to take goblins or snotlings and that, you're getting 2 doubles that you can just chuck on. So that's block on both your trolls for a goblin team, or I don't know, what would I put doubles? This is it. Snotlings don't really need doubles. They don't really want them.
Yeah, they don't really care.
They don't care. No. Because their bombardiers actually just get accurate. Oh man, I love snotlings. Anyway, no player may receive more than 1 skill. A primary skill may be chosen instead of a secondary. So there you go, you snotling madman. You can have 7 normal skills. Star players can't be given skills. Don't ask. It's just not okay. And then team tiers: Amazon, Chaos Dwarf, Dark Elf, Dwarf, High Elf, Lizardman, Norse, Undead, Skaven, Underworld, and Wood Elf are tier 1 as per the FAQ. Tier 2, Black Orc, Chaos Chosen, Chaos Renegade, Elven Union, Human, Imperial Ability, Khorne, Necromantic, Nurgle, Orc, Old World Alliance, Tomb Kings, Vampire, Slan. And then tier 3 are the proper tier 3 ones: Goblins, Halflings, Ogres, and Snotlings. So Milton has taken a tier 2 team that he loves and just brewed up something that's completely out of left field. How many goblins in that roster?
3.
I like it. I love it. So, okay, you've taken an archetype and a giant, and with the mascot has freed up that extra cash to get that reroll.
Yep.
Which just it's I think it's a really good little balancing point. So even though your roster is 1100, it's kind of 1150 with that extra kind of mascot reroll in there, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm really curious to see how people use that to their advantage, as in kind of in a similar way to the thought pattern that I was having, where I'm like, well, actually, what I can do is I can pretty much spend all my money on like cool positionals or doing something funny like taking a giant, because where I would normally be reliant on rerolls for picking up the ball, because that's pretty much all I use it for on orcs, like I don't have to worry about those because I've got them in the bag. I've got that through leader. I've got that. And okay, there's a degree of like reliability. Obviously, my blitzer could go out turn 1.
Might not work.
But armor 10 plus with block is it's not bad.
We saw goblins do excellently at South Coast Summer. We saw some teams that you might not usually expect to do so well. That was partially to do with the meta shift. I think there's a degree of like the package and obviously the players and stuff, but I thought that was really interesting. And we saw some absolutely amazing like compositions of teams. And I think we're going to see that again with this. So that having that mascot frees up you maybe to like take one reroll less and put that money somewhere else.
I like this, and I think you see this with our skills packages in our tournaments. Because actually, it was similar in Dorset Dungeon Bowl, right? Where we gave an extra reroll to the Dungeon Bowl teams. So we kept the builds a little bit lower. Because I think the more cash you have, the more access you have to star players for Tier 2 and Tier 1 teams. And I think we don't tend to see star players be dominant in our tournaments because actually Hackflem with Snotlings just kind of makes them competitive, right? Now, Goblins with Bomber, different. I like this. This is interesting. A definite meta shift with Goblins on the rise. But 1100, it's hard to fit a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 team with a game-winning or game-changing star player. But what it does do is make that roster more flexible. So from team-wise, I mean, I'm looking at this roster, I'm looking at this list, and I'm just thinking, yeah, I mean, you've got Giants, which you can fit into any of the Tier 3 teams. Goblins are looking really good right now, and having 7 skills to be able to take across your team is pretty tasty. High Elves are still riding high. It's a great time to get Amazons out and about before they get changed up a bit. I mean, BT, I don't know who's actually going to be odd man out this time for the TO team, but
I think it's probably come back round to me. I'm happy to do it, but I don't want to deprive Milton of his 12 orc giant roster. So.
Oh no! You definitely go play odd man out. What would you play?
I'd actually be probably taking Amazons, not just because I'm painting them, but because I really it'll be nice to get on like the cutting edge of the tournament roster. I know October's a little bit away, but it'll be fun to see them in that, or at least take the old roster and then see how that pairs with some of the newer stuff. So I mean, old Amazons are a bit boring though, so I'm hoping they're interesting because I wouldn't want to take old Amazons in the tournament. I think it's pretty gross. But yeah,
old Amazons at 1100, they can get absolutely everything you want to buy. There's no star players, I think, that really makes an impact without having to give up a chunk of the change. I mean, 5 primaries is not a huge amount where you can't stack them. That's guard times 4 and then block on a guy.
God, I hate Amazons so much. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say.
So too bad you've done a wonderful paint job, eh?
Yeah. Hey, we don't know what the new roster's going to look like, and I mean, realistically,
I hope it's better.
Even if they go on sale, if we get the flag this Sunday, that's 1 week. Pre-order, that's 2 weeks. We've got 10 weeks to go, so they're going to land with, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks prior to the tournament coming out. So it may be that actually we do see a huge chunk of Amazons, and this is what I wanted to raise the question about. When it comes to our events, actually when it comes to Blood Bowl in general, the meta doesn't, because we've got that dearth of teams, there never really feels like there's a massive bonus to reading the meta, which I think is amazing in Blood Bowl, because when it comes to Magic or Warhammer, you kind of go, ooh, it's looking like Scissors is popular, time to take Rock. And then you've got the people who double think and go, everyone's taking Rock because they think Scissors is popular, so time to slap them about with paper. Like, it's just a thing, right? And you always hear about it in competitive gaming. If you want to win at this event, are you taking Dwarves and are you spamming Tackle with a different team to read that meta?
In what way do you think the meta?
Like, if you think about Amazons coming out soon,
right,
and the rise of goblins, is this the point in the cycle where Tackle kind of comes back into being amazing?
I wouldn't mind seeing that. We never really see dwarves much at tournaments, so it would be interesting to see if you're right, if this is the thing that brings them back. And I kind of want that because I find Blood Bowl, I mean, we talked about it earlier, but I do find Blood Bowl misses that kind of meta that we have. So or we have in other games. So yeah, it would be actually really interesting to see. I don't know. I think it's hard to say without seeing what the new Amazon roster is going to be like. But I would like to see new Amazon teams.
So if we see a rise in tackle teams, Milton, what teams do you think would be the paper to that rock? Like if you were going to a tournament expecting to see a lot of dwarf and tackle, what rosters would you be looking to take?
Orc.
Yeah. Orcs, Black Orcs, Chaos, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really interesting. So for South Coast Summer, we saw like a huge slant towards, particularly since we had loads of goblins, we had loads of orcs, we had loads of Black Orc teams, and we had some like with zero representation whatsoever. There were no ogres, there was no necromantic. Is that right?
Oh, I think you might be right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that was really strange. And I will say, like, we have rosters in already for our South Coast Autumn, which is amazing. And I won't say what they are. I won't say who submitted them or what the teams are. I'm not going to give the game away here. But yeah, like I'm already kind of starting to see a change in the pattern, and I don't know whether that's because it's the kind of the sort of the local communities just trying something else, or whether or not like, oh well, everyone's used Bomber now, so we're not going to do that anymore.
This is the thing I love about Blood Bowl is that, quite frankly, the competitive edge you get from the meta is really minimal because there's so much variety that you can be like, I'm going to go tackle heavy, and you just may not get to use it at all. And that's actually something that I really love about this. Is there are going to be players that are like, cool, I'm going to go to a tournament. What team haven't I used at a tournament? You know what? Black Orcs look fun. Imperial Nobility look fun. Let's take a challenge. Let's go Vampires. Let's go Tomb Kings. Like, High Elves are winning. Great. Let's print a team and run High Elves or Slan. And there's so much of that. I'm going to do something different. This is my opportunity to paint a team up for a tournament or do something different for a tournament, that I am so elated that the meta isn't a visceral thing here. We see trends in popularity in star players or team types based on builds, but I don't think, probably because of the pool of players, and I think you see it in 40k stuff and Magic the Gathering, right? But that's because the meta kind of only exists at the top end, whereas in Blood Bowl, the player pools, even if our tournament's going to be 60, 70, 80 players, over 3 games, the top end doesn't filter out to the point where there is a sub-meta, which means you can be paired against an absolute madman with orcs and a giant, right? And it's just...
who'd do that?
It's just amazing. Like, I absolutely love it. Because there are going to be, up to... there's going to be like 80 teams at this event. And there's only going to be like 4 or 5 teams that are duplicated, really, which is just absolutely like awesome. So, talking about the tournament and winning and top ends and stuff like that, probably talk about a couple of bits. Tournament scoring, we're going to use our standard scoring system, which is 30 points for a win, 10 points for a draw, 0 points for a loss, a bonus point per touchdown up to 3, a bonus point per casualty up to 3, and a bonus point for perfect defense, which is letting no touchdowns in. So that point there is to allow the slower, more defensive teams to actually not conceding a touchdown is the same as scoring a touchdown. So a 1-0 win is going to score you the same amount of points as if you'd scored 2 touchdowns, basically, and let one in. So it kind of allows that defensive play to be really beneficial. Casualties. I need to change the ruling on this word pack, don't I? Because you guys have come up with a better worded way of saying it. Is that right?
I don't know if it's better. I think it's just over-engineered.
Yeah, I think I've just become obsessed with it.
You let 2 software engineers have a say.
Yeah.
All casualties done by your players to their players.
Now you're asking.
Basically, casualties you do, but not dodging doesn't count.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So if you foul a dude or kill a dude by chucking a player at him, or
push him out into the pitch, yeah.
Then
if they get casualtied as a result of something your players did,
I got it. All casualties inflicted to the opposing team by your players count. This includes block results, fouls, crowd surfs, being hit by thrown players, and secret weapons.
There you go.
Beautiful. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. So that's the core bit. There is also going to be a best team award. We do this every single time. There's going to be a slip given out at the beginning of the day. And lunchtime, we're going to ask people to display their teams so that you can go around and pick your choice for best team on each of the 2 days. So it's just a really fun way of doing it and kind of pimping out the hobby. Hopefully, we'll get time to go around and take photos of them. And I'm going to bring the spinny wheel as well. See if we can get some spinny wheel shots. So that's going to be Saturday. And then on to the Sunday, 4 games of 7s, which is in every single way the best way to play Blood Bowl. Same score, slightly different scoring, 20 points for a win. Everything else is the same. So 7s tends to be a little bit more close, but where you've got 4 games, it allows it to kind of the pack to work its way out by being a little bit tighter, because the points are going to be added for both days to determine the overall weekend winners. So it's a good way to balance out. This is a NAF sanctioned event. They are both NAF sanctioned. And then it's probably best to talk about the build for 7s, which is going to be 600k star players. No. Blood Bowl 7s. So you've got the standard bit that players who are not linemen are 0 to 4, which is what you expect. It's all in the death zone, and it's basically how 7s has been run now for years. Inducements, very limited. But again, see the death zone rulebook. And skills. This is the fun bit of 7s. Tier 1, 2 primary. Tier 2, 2 primary and a secondary. And Tier 3, 2 primary and 2 secondary skills. So primary can be swapped for secondary, and no stacking on your players. Team tiers are exactly the same as standard Blood Bowl. Ben, this build, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. What are you taking for 7s? You can't say Amazons because you already picked them.
Good. I really want to try Khemri in 7s. And I know you've done this, but did you do this with mixed?
No, we did this in Secret 7s where we used Milton's almost Khemri team.
Yeah, I just want to try it with just 4 Tomb Guardians 7s team and just not move. But I just think that would be so much fun. So we did the Tree Man team in 7s, and I imagine it'll basically be like that, but with a little bit more mobility and some better linemen.
That's interesting. What about you, Milton?
This is a hard one because I actually feel like in 2020, 7s is quite different, and picking a team's quite different. Especially with the changes in the way we've seen although we were discussing this, weren't we, about this sort of passing myth where everything feels bashy but might not actually be true. I'd love to give high elves a whirl. I'd like to pass. I feel like 7s is very quick and passing could be quite efficient.
Strong. Yeah, a good pass just wins you the game, I think.
I keep looking over the high elf roster, and I feel like I've just ignored them. I've just they're not a thing.
It's because they're in that rotation ambiguity zone, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's some great miniature ranges out there in order to support them. And I think you made your own, didn't you, out of the Elf Union BT? Yeah.
Yes. With the old Boardmaster head.
The pointy hats. I love the pointy hats. That's what it was all about. I think the passing game's going to be great for 7s. I'm suspecting we will see teams with the capability to pass, like Skaven and those elf teams, definitely up there at the top. It's where I'd put my money.
I think I've got 2 kind of options on this one. I think Slan would be great fun to take. Tier 2, 2 primaries and a secondary actually gives you a ton of flexibility. Their rerolls are cheap and their linemen are excellent. They're just brilliant. They're underrated. Their catches are great, and you get a Croxagore. So actually, you got a pretty good lineup there. But
are the Slan linemen basically Skaven?
No, they're human.
They're human.
Human linemen with leap and very long legs.
Right, okay, I can remember
No,
that
that's
movement
not
7
true.
on it.
With pogo stick and very long legs.
Pogo's take a very long legs.
Yeah,
right.
so they got better armor than a Skaven lineman, but their movement 6, edge 3, and all of a sudden on a 3+ they can just be 2 squares away.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and actually being able to take 3 skills is going to be really good because you can put block on the Crocs, and then you've got 2 catchers again with I don't know dodge or something like that. It's movement 7, edge 2+ pieces. It's potent, like it's really good. But I like Renegade. I'm in a really Renegades mode at the moment, and I think three skills for Renegades, right? That's
pretty good actually.
That's stuff like the
2-head Scobbo for sure. That's really good.
2-head Scobbo straight away. Then you've got your choice of big guy, and it is a genuine choice of big guy here. You can run with the Roger and give him block with your double, and because he's got that automatic skill with animal savagery where you will always get your blitz off as long as there's someone to murder, actually you should fill your boots. Like, you don't have to go all 3 big guys. Positional's a bit of a struggle here. I think you kind of want Goblin, Dark Elf, Skaven, 2 of those, and then 2 big guys.
Goblin, Ogre, Rat Ogre, and then the Dark Elf. That's probably the ones I'd take.
Yeah, that's a pretty good lineup. But it just gives you that ability to just smash things. But hey, we've all seen what a straight up halfling roster can do in 7s. Like, they did very well in 7 Super Series, and the way they play not changed at all. So that's just, you know, them with 4 skills. That's 2 secondaries. That's 2 trees with. So you kind of want to give them block, but I think they were only good when they got break tackle as well in the old one, but I don't think that works as good anymore, does it? No, it doesn't.
Not what it used to be.
Oh, mate,
no.
break tackle trees were the shizzles in 7s of old.
It's just +2 now, isn't it?
Yeah, so what they add 5, so it's 3+.
Yeah, it's just get a skill to make them dodge like a normal dude would.
It's just such a good thing to be like, okay, now I'm going to take my edge 6 tree and walk into your cage and smush stuff. I know, it's pretty cool. OWA might be fun as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm still recoiling from my experience versus them in Sandbowl.
Really?
I think, yeah. Rob took, well, obviously you can't take stars in this, but this was 11s, but Rob took Zug, Deep Root, and a tree in the Sandbowl build. And it was just so difficult. But what it did was it made me realize that OWA are considerably more versatile than I ever gave them credit for, and it's definitely brought them up in my esteem.
Well,
so
I can see. I don't want to spoil anybody who hasn't seen the monthly meta yet, but last 2 periods they've been in the top 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they dropped a spot this month down to 4. OWA, I think people are figuring them out. And I think that tier 2 buff, where they've gone down from tier 1 to tier 2, is getting access to a little bit more gold for an extra reroll, or a little bit more skill for just that extra boost. And they're becoming a good challenge team. You know, like
that's very interesting.
Yeah. We probably should do power rankings again at some point on the show, because it's been really fun tracking like the last few months of Blood Bowl, competitive Blood Bowl. Slander in the top 10, so yeah, I don't care about anything else. That's everything to me. Goblins are coming up the league. It's brilliant. It's great to see. Okay, so we talked through the days, we talked through the builds. You do get your mascot for 7s as well, so that's going to help a little bit. It's 1 extra reroll across the entire game, which means you're going to use it in turn 1. But you know, that's fine. It's 7s. If you lose the game in 35 minutes, you go grab a cup of tea because you'll be playing another one shortly after. And then the last page of the rulebook has got our 2023 roster of tournaments. And there's a couple of them which are TBC at the moment, but this is where we're looking to host tournaments, and one we're planning on going to. So Beachhead will be Saturday 11s, Sunday 7s, like this format, in February at the BIC. Then in May, we're going to have Dorset Dungeon Bowl at Entoyment. Then South Coast Summer, we'll probably do Saturday, Sunday, 11/7s again at the BIC. Then in September, some of us are planning on being in Alicante, Spain for the World Cup. I'm going. Ben's going.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going.
My wife's going. Alison coming?
I don't think so.
What?
It's work in progress.
All right,
Work
I
in
need
progress.
to get Tiff to
Tiff
text
needs to
her.
help with that.
Yeah, I believe me, I think Tiff will help with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Milton, I don't think you're coming, are you, because of that?
Well, tentative. I don't know. We do have like quite a big holiday in May, so
It's
that
only
is
3
much
days.
earlier in the year. Yeah, I might.
You're in Europe anyway, so it's not far for you.
No. Yeah, just a swim, isn't it?
Yeah, you were at the seaside the other day.
Day trip in the yacht.
Just pop across to Alicante.
Yeah. No, it's very tempting. It is very tempting.
Well, it's gonna be a riotous party. And then October, we're planning on doing South Coast Winter again. Same format as this, and then November we'll have Bonehead Bowl. So we've got 8 tournaments that we're planning on hosting next year. We've got 3 left this year. And I don't know, I think it's really Blood Bowl, it feels genuinely back. Now, we've had a really good chatty podcast, so we've overrun a bit. So we're going to leave our tournament gimmick thing for another episode. And actually, it means we can do a better job prepping for it. And sort of like, here's some example tournaments, here's some differences, here's what we like, here's what we think could be better. Here's what we think is baffling, which I think would be a pretty good one as well. So I guess, guys, we should probably wrap up now. Is there anything you wanted to mention when it comes to South Coast Autumn, or do you think we're done?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in coming, go to the website, and everyone that has already bought a ticket, we're very excited to see you there. It's going to be awesome.
And the event info is also in the Discord. So if you do join the Discord now, we've got that as an event in there with a link to all the important documents. So.
Good job, guys. We can't guarantee it about streaming the games live, but this week we did a first trial of stuff. I mean, Ben, we've streamed 7's games live already, no problems at all. 11's is slightly different. I'm really happy with the camera layout that we set up on Tuesday. I just screwed up the recording element of it. What I tried to do didn't work, so we only got one factor. But actually, I am confident that by October we'll have the technological capacity to do it. Whether or not we want to do it on the day or not, I don't know. I don't want to commit to it, but we are gunning for this because I was benched in Italy. I mean, that's probably not fair to say I was benched. And all I wanted to do, other than spend my honeymoon with my wife, having a lovely holiday, was
all you wanted.
I was by the pool, right? I was by the pool, and I took a series of choose your own adventure books, which was amazing. So we're at this poolside resort, and there's like everyone's in their 60s and 70s and having a lovely holiday. All there's like young families like playing catch in the pool. Tiff's reading very elegant women books, and I'm just there like Warlock of Firetop Mountain, like going, "Oh, I died again!" Like just being a proper adult by the pool. But really, what I wanted to do was just have the YouTube feed up and be like, "Oh, the next round's being announced. Who's playing who?" Or "Oh, what's the top score?" Or like, "Oh, I want to check in on the live coverage," because I think we're at that point now where it's just, why not? Like, it's so much fun. And if you can't come to the tournament, it would be wicked for you to be able to jump onto the live stream, comment, abuse, cheer, just absolutely be involved, even if you can't be there. This is one of the things we wanted to do for the pod. Like, this is one of the things this is one of the directions that we really wanted to go. And quite frankly, I think we're 70 days away from making it happen. And then Bonehead Bowl. And then all of those events we've just shown off for next year. And just, a new age for Blood Bowl. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. But anyway, we've talked for hours and haven't even covered most of the topics. So I will say, Ben, thank you very much. Milton, thank you very much for jumping on with us. Appreciate having you, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here.
Right. Let's wrap up, guys. Thank you very much. And thank you all very much for joining us. Description, link, show notes, Discord. Thank you. Store, support local friendly gaming stores. And happy blocking. We'll see you soon.
Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.